some reason it felt like Restream was upset with me or something, and was not allowing me to get on. But we gonna push past all that. Uh, Gotta have it. This is Transitional Tuesday. You know, it's AM Opinionated with your man, they Goose the God, aka everything else I'm named. Like I said, one of these days when the when the when the outcry and the pressure is right, if enough people ask me about it and really care to know, then yeah, I'll break down all of my names, why I am called these things, and why I still respond to them. Because that particular thing is going to lead into a far deeper discussion, you know. So um, I've been working on these assignments for this film school, these classes I'm taking, and what I have never liked, what I do not like, what I've never liked is when, especially when you're doing stuff online, right? When you're doing stuff online, if the assignment is not clear, not necessarily the assignment in general, but the way to um, turn in your assignment. You know what I'm saying? Like most of these, because it's a film school, because it's classes that you're taking for video and film, they want you to upload everything to YouTube. Well, this one was just something that's to where you had to just take pictures of yourself using different lighting techniques. They didn't tell you where to send it. So apparently, uh, I have not been able to find uh, an access to send these pictures to YouTube to then copy and paste it into my assignment page. So anyway, we gonna push on and we gonna transition. And so the reason I wanted to, I mean, everything is a transition if you really think about it. You know what I'm saying? We transitioning every moment of the day. We're transitioning. We're constantly in transition. I just transitioned just a second ago from talking about school to talking about transitions. So everything that we that we partake upon doing a daily basis has the opportunity to transition. So you transition from one topic to another. You transition from one word to another, from one thought to another. So us as beings, we are constantly in transition. You know, uh, transition to some people, I, I I don't know why. From my perspective, I can't understand why people do not take more heed, more heart to transitions. You know what I'm saying? Like it's change is a part of life. And it's a beautiful thing. But now that I say that, it's a beautiful thing if you know that you're transitioning in the right direction. If you know that you are transitioning in the direction that's not going to lead to prosperity and peace, then maybe not. You know, I read a book many years ago called Poverty to Power. You know, if your thoughts and your actions are leading you towards transitioning to poverty, I can understand why you don't like or would accept that change. But if your thoughts and your actions are leading you to power, you're gonna rush to that. Um, so I do want to talk about tomorrow night's show real quick. So tomorrow night's Notoriously Opinionated is gonna be a fun episode for me because I get to show everybody how me and my old head partners kick it, you know. So in a lot of circles I run with, it kind of just depends. So I got three different circles that I run in, right? I got my circle of friends that's all my age, or we're within 1 and maybe 4, maybe 3 or 4 years apart from each other, right? Uh, but all of us are in our 40s, right? So I got that block. Then I got my circle that I run with. That's all my youngsters. You know what I'm saying? It's all my little dudes that's still in their 30s. Some in their 20s. So then there's that. Then there's that group that I run with, and then it's my old head partners, to where I'm the youngster. I'm in my 40s, and I'm the youngster in this group, and so it's like it's crazy, the transitional dynamics between those three groups and factions. It's like in the group that everybody is relatively the same age, it's like we're sharing with each other. We're like, it's like, hey man, this happened to you. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? And we all have knowledge bases, and we all share things with each other. You know what I'm saying? We've been knowing each other for years. And so there's that sharing of knowledge, of us all kind of being in the same sphere of knowledge, in the same sphere of understanding of things. And so uh but we all have different subjects of interest that we have more expertise in. And so it's like, I may have more expertise in this area, while my other dude may have that, and then he'll have this, and then he'll have this. But then when we all come together and we all share our knowledge with each other, everybody has a piece of everybody else's pie. So that's kind of that. Well, when I'm with my young dudes, when I'm with my little dudes, um, it's like I'm the teacher, you know, and they are trying to figure things out that I've already been through and have a little bit more knowledge about. So I school them, right? And I give them like best practices, you know. So these are things that I do. These are things that help me out. And so I'm gonna give y'all my best practices, right? And then when I'm with my old school partners, it's like I'm the student and I'm the one listening, you know. So all I do is I just sit up and soak up. I go into straight sponge mode, you know, because even after all these years, these dudes are still teaching me stuff. I'm still learning things from them. But the thing is, you got to be quiet, you know. I remember a vast majority of them, because I had a tendency to talk a lot. And a vast majority of my old school partners told me a long time ago, when I was a kid, you know what I'm saying, in my early 20s, they would tell me there's a reason why you have two ears and one mouth, because you're supposed to listen twice as often as you speak. You're supposed to listen more than you speak. You got one mouth, you got two ears. There's a reason for that. You know, listen more than you talk. Shut up. They never told me to shut up, because these are respectful dudes. You know what I'm saying? But they never told me to shut up. They would tell me to be quiet. You know? And so it's like, use your two ears and listen. Stop always talking. You know? And that led me to the understanding that people talk for two reasons, right? Uh I'll let you make your decision as to which one you either fall in or which one you agree with. But from my perspective, people talk for two reasons. Reason number one, people talk is uh, because they have to say something. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's times that people just have to say something. And then there's times to where people have something to say. And there's a difference. There's a difference between having to say something and having something to say. See, when you have to say something, it's knee jerk. I gotta say this. I gotta say this. 9 times out of 10, when you gotta say something, you're saying it out of emotion and not with a lot of thought. But when you have something to say, you're saying it with a lot of thought and less emotion. Also, when you have to say something, a lot of times it's not going to come out the way that you intended it. But when you have something to say, it's going to come out exactly how you intended it. When you have to say something, a lot of times people really ain't going to want to hear what you got to say. You're not going to have a lot of listeners. People aren't going to pay attention to what you have to say because they recognize that you are just talking. You just talking to hear your head roar, as they say, versus the person who has something to say. He's going to be heard. She's going to be heard. They are going to be heard because they have something to say. You know, you can tell the difference between people who have something to say and people who just have to say something. You know, most of the people on Twitter just have to say something. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not knocking the platforms, but I'm like this. If I'm out eating, I don't need to take a picture of what I'm eating and be like, "Ooh, delicious." That's just anyway. That's just not me. But like I said, tomorrow night you're gonna have the pleasure of seeing how me and my old school partners kick it, and see what I'm calling affectionately my my OAD episode. OAD. You'll find out tomorrow what OAD means. But everybody on that show already know what OAD means. So yeah, tomorrow is my OAD episode with my old school partners. But it's one more thing I want to say before I get out of here. I mean, I am a student of a lot of ancestors, you know, Frederick Douglass being one of them. And I'm a student of a lot of things that he said, a lot of things that he wrote, you know. And I realized that a lot of Frederick Douglass's quotes, you can take one word out and replace it with another word and have whole dialogues just on his quotes. You know what I'm saying? For example, Frederick Douglass had a quote that said, some know the value of education by having it. I know the value of education by not having it. You could take the word education out and have a whole different conversation about whatever word you decide to put in there. Some people know the value of some people know the value of affection by having it. I know the value of affection by not having it. I spent 5.5 years in solitary confinement. So I know what it is to not have affection, you know. Some know the value of having some know the value of having some know the value of love by having it. I know the value of love by not having it. I'm not speaking of myself personally in that particular one, but these are just examples of how you can replace that word education. Some know the value of education by having it. I know the value of education by not having it. There are young people who that quote relates to, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are a lot of young people who do not understand the value of the education that they're getting even now virtually, right? But it means so much. So if you are a parent and you see that your child is not taking this virtual school as seriously as they should be, keep this in mind. The classes may be virtual, but that F is real. The classes may be virtual, but when your baby gets held back, that's real. That's physical. That is that physical child being held back because of those real F's that they've been getting, So keep that in mind, you know. Because again, like the ancestor Frederick Douglass said, it is easier to build strong children than it is to repair broken men and women. That's just real. All right, so I'm gonna get out of here. I got prepared for tomorrow night's episode as well as classwork. But before I go, I have to say this. I need to give a shout out to my guy Griff over there at Power 101 The Block. Man, I want to send my condolences to you, my man. And, let me know if there's anything you need. So I just definitely got to send my condolences out to my guy Griff over there at Power 101 The Block. And anybody that views this, go and get on Facebook and reach out to my man. You know what I'm saying? Send him your condolences. You could read about what happened. It's not my place to put it out there and say it, but just check it out. All right. Until then, support small and black businesses. The coronavirus, COVID-19, is killing more than just the world population. It's killing small businesses and killing people's dreams. And as always, seize the moment. It is not promised that you're going to make it through the whole day. So, till then, it's been your man. Peace. I'm out.